Good afternoon, everybody. This is your boy Ghost Kamachi, and today's rant will be about Arcade1up and my personal wish list of what type of cabinets I would love to see them make for the future. If you hear the little rumbling in the background, my fan is on, so it's kind of hot in the studio today, so I wanted to knock this video out while I still had it fresh in my head. Alright? These games are not in any particular order. I know most of them will never be made or they'll make them or made or anything, so I know it's just off the top of my dome, wish list, hope list, and anything like that. Okay, so let's get started. First arcade cabinet is Tekken in the Tekken series, or just an Arcade1up Tekken cabinet. The Tekken series basically been in my lifetime since I was a kid, growing up in arcades. One of the first 3 games I remember playing in the arcade was Tekken 3, Soul Calibur, and Mortal Kombat. You got your Centipede, Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man Dig Dug, but all of those is easy to port. I would love to see this being tackled by Arcade1up because it's kind of like a unique challenge. I would love to see Tekken 1, 2, 3, and Tekken Tag on this arcade machine, especially maybe an HD port of Tekken Tag 1, because those games are basically the classic Tekkens to me. It would be nice to see those, because those are the oldest Tekken games, and you could probably see a Tekken Tag arcade or maybe a Tekken 3 arcade, but a Tekken 1 and 2 arcade, that's rare. I would love to see that in my collection, and I would love to see something like that in my house, period. That's just me. That's Namco history. The second game I would love to see is any Time Crisis series being handled by Arcade. The Time Crisis series was always a staple in terms of arcade shooters because of the fact that, unlike the House of the Dead, which I was really afraid of growing up, Time Crisis was more like a good action shooter. And I always have a special heart and a special place in my heart for some Time Crisis. You say Time Crisis, I'm there. I would love to see Time Crisis 1, which is to me the hardest one to find. Time Crisis 2 and 3. Kind of like how they did Buck Hunter, but basically maybe 2 separate screens or just one big screen that splits the game in half. I would love to see them tackle this since we getting Wild Buck Hunter, and let's be honest, I'm not a big Buck Hunter fan because the game never appealed to me. Hunting animals was never a thing in my book. But seeing Time Crisis 1, 2, and 3, and maybe 4 on one arcade machine for about $500, that's something to be happy to get. Exactly. I know I would love to see that in my collection, because that game will always have a staple in my heart. That game, and it was ahead of its time if you think about it, but it was really, really good. I love me some Time Crisis. Me and my cousin will go crazy for some Time Crisis. The third game of the list is something that's really easy and basically we damn near almost there of getting it. The Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. Now this is kind of hard. I kind of was like, I didn't really want to put it on the list because we already got all the X-Men Capcom fighting games, and we about to get Marvel vs. Capcom 1 already on an arcade cabinet. But I would still love to see Marvel vs. Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and maybe somehow, form or fashion, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 playing on the Arcade1up. Maybe just Marvel vs. Capcom 1, 2, and 3 would be beautiful on an Arcade1up system, just to see them 3 games on one build. Again, I didn't want to put it on this list because we already getting all the X-Men or leading up to Marvel vs. Capcom already on 2 different arcade machines. Well, actually 3. But I would love to still see this coming to fruition, because you got to show Marvel vs. Capcom 2 some love. You got to. The next game is the Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur. That sound always brings excitement to my heart every time I hear that in the arcade. Soul Edge, I haven't played. I wanted to, but I think I had a chance to, but I think never got it. I think the person I was with that had the game was being stingy. So, Soul Edge, Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur 2 would be beautiful to see on an arcade build, Arcade1up build. Maybe even Soul Calibur 3, but a lot of people didn't really take fond of Soul Calibur. So I would love to see Soul Edge, Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur 2. Even if it's the one with Heihachi as the DLC character, I wouldn't care. I would love to see that on an arcade board made by Arcade1up. That would be so beautiful. The next one is Streets of Rage. Top tier Sega beat 'em up game. I don't care what nobody say. This is just my opinion. Final Fight don't hold a candle to Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage is like what I want Final Fight to be, but nah, not really. I would love to see Streets of Rage 2, 3, and maybe 4. So why I didn't include Streets of Rage 1, because Streets of Rage 1, it kind of looks a little outdated and it's a console game. I would love to see it on there, but seeing it on a arcade machine instead of seeing it as a Sega Genesis game would look weird. But that's why I prefer Streets of Rage 2, 3, and 4, because they can fit into a arcade built layout. All of them can, but visually it would be better to see 2, 3, and 4. Since 4 really came out, that it will really be, and it probably will be expensive, but I would love to see Streets of Rage 4 played on an arcade machine. I don't know the likely of that one, because the game still just came out at last year. So I would love to see that game come into fruition, because I would be so happy to see that. The next one is Namco Museum. I'm a big fan of the Namco Museum that came out on GameCube, because the Pac-Man game and the Dig Dug version of that game, the Dig Dug arrangement game on that, was so beautiful. I even got that in my collection because I said I had to get that game. That game was gold to me. To see popular arrangement versions of Galaga, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug on an arcade machine would be beautiful. It don't even have to be called Namco Museum. It could be called Namco Arrangements. Just get a few arrangements of each series from different versions of them and put it on one arcade build would be beautiful. I'm particularly talking about the GameCube one, not the other ones that came out on 360 and all of that. I don't really like those. But the one on GameCube that was called Namco Museum was beautiful. Street Fighter Third Strike. All 3 versions on one arcade build with internet connection will be top tier. Even if it's the online version that we got for the 360 era will be perfect, and I would love to see that on there. Especially Street Fighter Third Strike, but online. Come on, that's beautiful. That's a gift to me. That is literally a gift to me. The next game, of course, Crazy Taxi and Cruis'n USA. The reason why I bundled these two together, because Crazy Taxi 1, 2, and 3, I don't know about Crazy Taxi. Was it a Crazy Taxi 3? I'm not really for sure, but I know at least Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, an Arcade1up sit-down racer. Since we got the Star Wars cabinet, I would love to see a Crazy Taxi cabinet and a Cruis'n USA cabinet, since it's hard to find a Cruis'n USA racing cabinet. Especially the new one, the recent one that came out with the HD graphics. I would love to see that as an arcade, as a more of an affordable version of an arcade. But that would be beautiful. I love Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi was one of the first arcade racers that I fell in love with. It was beautiful. Cruis'n USA, I played the N64 version before I played the arcade versions, but the arcade versions was always top superior to me, and I truly love that Nintendo / was it Raw Thrills that ended up making the new one. I loved it. I love those games. Bonus one. I would love to see a Power Stone arcade with Power Stone 1 and 2. I would love to see it. That'd be a beautiful 3D party fighting game for any Arcade1up lover. I would love to see that Capcom classic. Maybe Power Stone 1, 2, and Star Gladiator Plasma Sword. That would be beautiful to see. And this is my video for today. With my main top wish list arcade machines that I would love to see in the future from Arcade1up. Please, if you want to, I ain't gonna pressure you. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more random rants like this, maybe live reactions or any new video I can think of in the future. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy Ghost Kamachi, and we going dark.